Hello, hello. Welcome to Leap Taken. Here at Leap Taken, I talk all things witchy, craft related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today we are going to be talking self care. Not just any kind of self care, though, but I'm going to give you 5 tips for the modern witch for doing self care, specifically in this season, upcoming season, fall, autumn. All right. So before I get too far into this conversation about my self care tips, I want to just talk about perception because I think this matters. So before, I think a lot of us are struggling with the concept of perception. So perception can become your truth. I was someone who, when I would see self care tips, whether it was for witches or not, you kind of get burnt out on the idea of, oh, these are great tips for self care, and it's like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do any of those things. Like, oh, I don't have time for this and things like that. If you're taking that attitude, that is your perception is that you don't have time, right? Your life is so busy, you have so much going on, you don't have the time. You don't have time to do a 5 minute meditation. You don't have time to feed yourself appropriately for your body, to nourish yourself. You don't have time. So we know that's not true because you do eat, and there are 5 minutes out of a day that you do have, and you can choose to do whatever you want. um, Perception can become your truth. It is a major key in witchcraft. So when us witches cast a spell, and when we talk about being aligned with the outcome of the spell, or align with how we feel about the outcome of the spell, or what we perceive to be the outcome, um, to be in alignment with all of that energy, uh, is to also believe that is to believe, that's the key word, let me emphasize that, is to believe that it will be, but it's really based on your perception. That's how a lot of witches miss the spell being successful. There's a lot of different examples I can give, but basically, if you cast a spell for an item or a situation to happen, um, if your perception is that you're waiting for it, if your perception is that you're in this perpetual state of hope and wishing, but you don't concentrate on the feelings of what it'll be like when you receive it, and what that will feel like. If you're not making that your reality, um, you're going to stay in that hoping, wanting, wishing um, type energy, and you miss the opportunity necessarily for that item or situation to occur. You miss it. You missed it. It did appear. You just didn't see it. A lot of times people say, "Oh, well, the spell didn't work." Were you open to opportunities? Because it's not movie magic. Witchcraft, it doesn't happen like it does in the movies, right? Y'all know that. I mean, maybe for some of us, but most of us, there's some other work involved. It doesn't happen that way. I wish it would make life so much simpler, but what's the fun in that, right? But no, it doesn't work exactly that same way. So your perception is really the secret to manifesting and also becoming a powerful witch. So along the way, to me, I believe taking the opportunity to practice acts of self-care is, one, opening up a portal for yourself into the universe, that you are worthy, you are valuable as is, and you're worthy of rest, you're worthy of recharging, you're worthy, excuse me, not worthy of rejuvenation. And more importantly, you believe that is your perception of self. If you value yourself, as with anything, your thoughts become things. If you're, a belief in that type of manifesting, the universe will show in kind. So when you are casting spells after taking time to rejuvenate yourself, I think it makes you even more of a powerful witch, but you just have to perceive it this way. If you don't, then, I guess it won't matter. These are just tips and you'll ignore them like you've been ignoring the other tips for self care. I'm just saying, I talk to a lot of different people and they just have this very wishy washy attitude because I get it. The concept of self care has been marketed and it doesn't feel very real anymore. It feels like buzzwords and something, spa days and just like that, which I still think are important. But it can be a little bit more. We all need to recharge. We all need an opportunity to rejuvenate, right? So let me get to those tips, the 5 self-care tips for the modern witch during fall. So tip 1, embrace the fall energy with grounding rituals. Okay, this is the perfect time. Fall is a great season for grounding, in my opinion, because I think the earth is inviting us to slow down and reconnect. So take each day to ground, and how you ground yourself is, that's a personal experience, what makes sense for you. But I would try different things if you're not accustomed to making this a part of your daily practice. Taking a walk outside, specifically getting outside, is part of it. Breathing exercises as well. Lighting a candle. I have an ongoing thing I do where I light a black candle and I'm using color magic because the concept of, the color black being absorbent. So it's absorbing the feelings that run over when I feel overwhelmed. It's not just about anger and, oh, when I have negativity on me. No, it just when I need to get it out. So if I'm talking it out, even if I'm not sitting at the altar and speaking. If I'm just like, I'm discussing it, whatever is bothering me, let's say I'm on the phone, I like to kind of, either during the call or afterwards or something like that, I'll light that candle, to absorb, everything that I put out there, those feelings that sort of ran amok. You can also use your favorite crystal, like a smoky quartz or black tourmaline, might be good. You can also do the visualization where you visualize roots growing out of you, like out of your feet onto the earth, sort of anchoring you to the present moment as well. But a simple grounding meditation outside can do wonders, actually. That's really good, especially this time of year. Slow down, breathe deeply, take in the beauty of the season. Also, grounding helps us stay centered as we transition into these darker months. It's all to do with balance, staying balanced and in tune with the natural cycles of the season. We have to do this, right? Tip 2, nourish your body with seasonal foods. And if you see me looking sort of away, I'm looking at my notes because I want to make sure I don't go on a full-on tangent because I can. So nourish your body with seasonal foods. So our bodies, I mean, obviously it depends on where you are, but if you've been, where you are for a length of time, your body is probably used to the cycles of nature and the bounty and the harvest that comes with it and the seasonal foods. After a while, you begin to crave this. So pumpkins and apples and spices and things like that, that's what's popping right now. That's going to be your seasonal foods. And root vegetables in general. Root vegetables, I mean, we live in a society it's available all year, but right now this is when, it's peak time. But it's also a great time to use herbs for self-care, especially those that align with the season. So think your warming herbs like cinnamon, right? Ginger, clove, and rosemary. Think of those times to nourish your body and kind of spice up, your drink. I was gonna say cocktails, your coffee, your teas, and anything else. So these foods don't just support your body; they also align you with the energy of the season. You can try making warm spiced apple cider, or even a hearty pumpkin soup with intention. A little kitchen witch magic there. As you prepare your meals, infuse them with love and gratitude for the abundance of the earth. Be in a space of gratitude. Make yourself a ritual tea to nourish your body and warm your spirit as well. You can even use these herbs to create a simmer pot. Perfect time for that. And you can put your intention into that as well. Or a little herbal baggie for protection and comfort for yourself, for the home as well. These small acts of magic tie you to the season's energy, your self care to the season's energy as well. Um, and I feel like every meal can be a small magical ritual of nourishment if you make it. And you can even get to the habit of saying words of prayer and things like that, or just being grateful. Maybe remember to say something. That's something I have to work on myself. If remembering to say some sort of just something in space of gratitude for the meals that I eat. Tip three, create a cozy, magical space. This one's near and dear. I've already started. I started in August, probably July. Actually, I started gathering stuff in July for fall Halloween decor. But as the nights get longer and the air turns cooler, for some of us, it's barely here. Creating a cozy, magical space at home is essential for self care. So remember, your home is your sanctuary where you can retreat, relax, and recharge. So whether it's just a cozy corner in your home that you're working on, or an altar for autumn rituals, you want to fill your space with things you find comforting items. So decorate with seasonal elements like candles, cinnamon sticks, dried herbs, and pumpkins. I know I have plenty around here. You want to set up a fall altar to honor the season and the energy of the harvest. Light a cinnamon scented or clove scented candle. That's always a good one. I have those around, or something along those lines. You want to cozy up with a blanket, and for a peaceful moment of reflection and meditation. It's just taking the time. You can also use this time and this space for journaling, or just reading a good book as well. Get your TBRs up. Get your list going, to be read list going. Tip 4, practice shadow work while you're sitting in that cozy corner. Practice shadow work and inner reflection. Fall is a time of introspection, it makes it a really perfect season to begin or deepen your shadow work practice. Seriously though, as the days grow shorter, it's a chance to turn inward and reflect on our own inner darkness, our fears and insecurities, parts of ourselves that we tend to hide from. Again, grab your journal, maybe light a candle, spend some time with your thoughts. Also, you can use tarot, oracle cards, or any sort of divination that makes sense for you, where you're asking, what am I ready to release? What patterns no longer serve me? This self-reflection can be a powerful form of self-care if you let it, if you perceive it to be so. It can help you with healing and growing as a witch and as a person. Tip 5, align with the energy of the ancestors. So fall, especially around Samhain, is a time when the veil between, the worlds are thinning, making it an ideal season to connect with your ancestors and honor those who came before you. So this connection can be beautiful if you let it, but can be a beautiful act of self-care, reminding you that you're never alone on your journey. You can set up a small altar space with, some photos, family photos, mementos, offerings, and things like that, like apples, bread, cinnamon, or something a little bit more personalized if that makes more sense. Spend time in quiet reflection during that time, meditating or speaking with your ancestors, asking for guidance, or simply doing offerings. You don't always have to ask for something. Offerings of gratitude for their wisdom, their protection, and their presence in your life. And carve out time for some divination as well, if that makes sense for you. Tarot, pendulums, again, oracle, whatever divination practice makes sense for you, so that you can gain insight into what the season is calling you to either embrace or, again, release. The messages you can receive might be helpful in guiding you kind of with your self-care practices and personal growth. So you might learn a little bit more as well. But there you have it. Those are my 5 tips. Now, with these tips, I wanted to think of something that was a little different for the modern witch. just witch in general, but more for today's witch with everything going on. A lot of us need to be able to take time, carve out for ourselves in general, let alone as witches. But these things connect you to the energy of the season. And as witches, that's a good thing to connect with those energies because you can do work with that. Taking the time to do these tips or any of them helps to make you more of a powerful witch. But remember, it's all about your perception. Be willing to ask yourself those questions. So what do you need to release? What do you need to embrace? And be open to those ideas and what comes out. All right, so thank you so much for watching. I am Mika. This is Leap Taken. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already, and go ahead and hit that join button to join Leap Taken membership. Wonderful perks like member-only videos and deep discounts at my website, leaptaken.com. Also, check out my website, leaptaken.com. If you're also interested, I have a second channel here on YouTube called Lifestyle of a Cottage Witch. It is where I sort of show out my practice more vlog style as a cottage witch. So you can check that out. The link is in the description. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Bye.